The Shema ends with the words Hashem Echad. Hashem, God, is one. When I was younger, I had some difficulty relating to this. After all, we live in a world where almost no one believes in more than one God. I can understand this passage being useful in ancient times when most people worship many gods, but I wondered how it was still relevant to me. And if it was in the Torah, it must be relevant. I was told it could refer to the worship of materialism and power and other vain pursuits as being the, quote, other gods in our lives. But I later discovered there must be much more to these last two words of the Shema verse. God is one on a deeper level means he is absolutely one with everything. In other words, since everything comes from God, there is a unity in everything. I once heard astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson make a similar point that to me describes the oneness of God's creations in the physical world. Let me share it with you. He says, recognize that the very molecules that make up your body, the atoms that construct the molecules, are traceable to the crucibles that were once the centers of high-mass stars that exploded their chemically enriched guts into the galaxy, enriching pristine gas clouds with the chemistry of life. So we are all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, and to the rest of the universe atomically. That's kind of cool. That makes me smile, and I actually feel quite large at the end of that. It's not that we're better than the universe. We're a part of the universe. We're in the universe, and the universe is in us. On a deeper level, everything is contained within God. When a writer creates a character in his mind, for example, the character is part of him, one with him, but it is not him. We and everything in the world are like the character in the mind of the writer in the sense that we exist in the mind of God. Unlike a writer's characters, we are independent. Although some writers will tell you that the characters sometimes take a mind of their own and go to places the writer had never imagined before. God has created us to be independent. We are not God, but on some level we are a part of God, and God is a part of us. When we recite the words Hashem Echad, Hashem is one, at the end of the 6 words of the Shema verse, we should try to feel the oneness of God, that unifying principle of God that connects all things. There is one more concept necessary to understand the sense of the oneness of God, and that is love. Kabbalah tells us that God created the world with a tzimtzum, a contraction. He constricted or diminished himself in a sense to make room for us in the universe, for he previously filled every space. It was a loving gesture, a model for any loving relationship. You see, in order to allow love to enter into our lives, we too must do a tzimtzum and make room for others. If we are so full of ourselves, no love can be present. And just as we still maintain a sense of self when we make space for another within ourselves, even though God constricted himself, God is not absent from this world. His essence totally permeates every space still. He is one with the world and everything in it. A time-honored practice recommended by the Talmud is to recite the last word of the Shema verse, Echad, one, elongating its pronunciation, like Echad, and emphasizing the letter Dalet, the D sound at the end. In doing so, says the Talmud, one is to focus on the kingship of God everywhere. The recitation of this last word of the Shema verse, Echad, is the climax of the spiritual ascent of the Shema experience. When reciting this powerfully charged word, allow your soul to soar so you can feel the love of God and the uniqueness of your own soul as it becomes one with God in everything, for everything emanates from God's loving energy. Do not complete the word Echad until you can feel that love and oneness in every fiber of your body. all the way down to the very depths of your soul. Echad. If you do this twice a day, as the sages prescribe, you will live your life with a special awareness of always being one with God. And this will make your life so much more wonderful. Let's now bring together all that we have learned about this first verse of the Shema, and let our soul soar as we do exercise number 4 on www.dancingwithgod.com.